Hi, my friends. Today I want to present you a new story. Enjoy watching it.
I had barely stepped through the door, arms full with the scent of rosemary and citrus from the turkey I'd spent the night preparing, when the air in the living room dropped 10 degrees. My father stood stiff by the fireplace, his jaw set, hands clenched so tightly his knuckles gleamed white. My mother sat on the couch, pale, distant, her eyes rimmed red, not from joy. I smiled hesitantly, holding up the turkey. "Merry Christmas. I brought dinner." Silence. Then my father's voice, low and razor sharp. "You can put that down. We're not hungry, not after what you did." Confused, I set the tray on the counter. "What are you talking about?" My younger brother Craig stood in the corner, arms crossed, avoiding my eyes. Darcy leaned casually against the doorway, smirking like she'd already won something I didn't know I was part of. My mother lifted a shaking hand. "The money, Ember. $45,700. Gone. Right after you helped me set up online banking." My heart dropped. "What? Mom, I didn't. Why would I even?" Dad took a step closer. "You're the only one with that kind of access. You helped her with the account. You're good with numbers, aren't you? It all adds up." "But it doesn't," I whispered. "I would never steal from you." "You don't need to come back until that money is returned," he snapped. "Unless you prefer we press charges." My world tilted. "You think I stole from my own mother? On Christmas?" Darcy tilted her head. "The evidence is pretty clear, sis." I looked at each of them. No one defended me. No one spoke up. Craig's silence cut deeper than any insult. I laughed, bitter and hollow. "So that's it. I'm just a thief now." Dad's voice was iron. "Unless you can prove otherwise." I backed away slowly, blood roaring in my ears. "You know what? Merry Christmas." I walked out without the turkey, without the fruitcake, without a single ounce of the warmth I'd once felt in this house. Snow fell gently outside, as if mocking the chaos I left behind. I climbed into my car, my hands trembling on the wheel. They had already convicted me. No trial, no questions. As I drove aimlessly through the falling snow, a single damning thought echoed in my mind. Someone set me up. The neon vacancy sign flickered like a dying heartbeat as I pulled into the gravel lot of a roadside motel just outside town. Room 6, $17 in cash, no questions asked. The receptionist didn't even blink when I handed over a crumpled 20 too much and waved off the change. Inside, the room smelled faintly of bleach and old smoke. A lone lamp buzzed weakly on the nightstand, throwing yellow light across the peeling wallpaper. I sat on the edge of the bed, still in my coat, staring at the wall like it might offer some kind of answer. My phone vibrated. A message from Darcy. "Guess some people just can't hide what they really are forever. Hope it was worth it." I nearly dropped the phone. My chest tightened. That wasn't disappointment, it was triumph. She wanted this. She'd planned this. I called work. My manager, Melissa, answered on the second ring. "Melissa, it's Ember. Sorry to bother you on Christmas, but something's happened." "You okay?" she asked gently. "No," I whispered. "My family thinks I stole money from my mom. A lot of money. They kicked me out." "Wait, what? That doesn't even sound like you. Ember, you manage multi-million-dollar accounts without blinking. Why would you?" "Exactly," I cut in. "Something's not right. I think I was set up." There was a pause. "Do you want me to get the security team involved?" "No, not yet. I need to think. I just needed someone to believe me." "I do," she said. "Whatever you need." I hung up, tears welling. But they didn't fall. Instead, I opened my laptop and connected to the motel's shaky Wi-Fi. I pulled up the online banking site. My login wouldn't help. I wasn't the account holder, but I knew the patterns, the dates, the way people make mistakes when they think no one's looking. I started jotting notes. Dates of the withdrawals, the limits, who had been around Mom during that week. Darcy stayed over while Mom was recovering from surgery. Craig had picked up her mail. I hadn't even been in town the day some of the money vanished. I opened another message from Darcy. "Don't dig, sis. It won't end well for you." I stared at the screen, jaw clenched. That was not something you said to someone unless you had something to hide. I looked around the dim room, suddenly filled with grim determination. If this was war, I wasn't going down quietly. The next morning, I awoke on stiff sheets, eyes swollen from lack of sleep. but my mind was sharper than ever. A decade in finance had trained me to see through numbers like a surgeon through flesh, and someone in my family had made a fatal miscalculation. I sat cross-legged on the bed, a cold coffee beside me and my laptop open to the digital trail I'd begun chasing. The online activity on Mom's account stopped 3 days before the money vanished, which meant the theft wasn't digital, it was done in person. My stomach tightened. I dialed the bank's fraud department. After a short hold, a woman picked up. "This is Felicia. How can I assist?" "Yes, hi. I'm calling on behalf of my mother, Martha Bellamy. She's ill and asked me to check recent withdrawals on her account. In particular, anything done in branch." There was a pause. "Can you verify her identity?" "I have her ID number, address, phone, and the last 4 digits of her card," I replied, reading from my notes. I had memorized them from years of handling her bills. Another pause. Then Felicia said, "There were 2 large cash withdrawals last week, both done at the branch on Ridgeview Avenue. I can see that her physical ID was presented." "What time were those transactions made?" I asked. "December 21st at 10:47 a.m. and again on the 23rd at 3:12 p.m. Darcy had stayed overnight with Mom the night before the first withdrawal. I remember because I dropped off soup that morning. Darcy had been yawning, wearing Mom's old cardigan. "Can you tell me if there's any video footage available from those branches?" I pressed. "Let me escalate this to our security team. If your mother files a fraud claim, we can provide the footage to law enforcement." I ended the call, my hands trembling. That night, I video called my cousin Alicia, a part-time paralegal who owed me more than one favor. "Ember, what's going on? You look like hell." "They framed me," I said, voice tight. "Darcy and Craig. They used Mom's ID and withdrew the cash in person. I think Darcy took the ID while she stayed over. She's smart, but not smart enough to erase the timestamps." Alicia's jaw dropped. "You're kidding. What are you going to do?" "I'm going to do what I do best," I said, leaning forward. "Track every lie to its source and bring the whole thing down." I had arrived at the Ridgeview Bank branch with a forged calm masking the storm beneath my skin. "I'm here to review video surveillance on behalf of my mother, Martha Bellamy," I told the manager, sliding over the notarized fraud tracking authorization Alicia had helped me obtain. It felt surreal, watching the system I'd spent my life mastering now working in my favor. The footage loaded slowly, the silence in the office brittle. And then there it was. Darcy. She strolled to the counter wearing sunglasses and Mom's coat, clutching Mom's ID in one hand like a trophy. 2 days later, Craig appeared, nervously rubbing his chin as he withdrew the second sum. No masks, no gloves. Just entitlement. I leaned back, my voice razor sharp. "Could I have a copy of that?" With evidence in hand, I returned to the motel and drafted a clean, professional dossier. Timestamps, bank logs, footage stills, even Darcy's mocking message telling me to just admit it. I slipped it all into a folder and, without hesitation, walked it to the nearest precinct. 3 days later, my phone lit up. A message from Alicia. "They got arrested this morning." I stared at the screen, heart pounding, when a second message buzzed through. From Dad. "Why did you do this to them?" I typed my reply, calm and final. "Because you blindly accused me of stealing by kicking me out of the house and didn't want to deal with the situation." And I hit send. The morning air was sharp when I returned to the motel from the grocery store, my final stay before leaving town. On the TV in the lobby, a reporter droned, "2 siblings arrested today on charges of identity theft and fraud. The case is drawing attention due to the victims being their own parents." I stared, half expecting my knees to buckle. It was real, it was over. My parents, in a desperate bid to avoid the shame of a full-blown scandal, had asked the court for leniency. They begged for a deal. No jail time, just a fine. A large one. The kind that bites, but still leaves room to recover, eventually. I didn't protest. I didn't care. I'd already made my decision. I blocked every number. Later that day, I received a voicemail. My father's voice, low and bitter. "You ruined your brother and sister's lives." "For what?" "For money. You've severed this family." I let the silence that followed speak for itself. I opened my laptop one last time and drafted a message to both of them, to my parents, who gave me life but never truly loved me, who had once held my hand at the school gate, now standing in the rubble of their own willful blindness. Good luck in the new year. You guys can use it. I pressed send, then closed the laptop. That night, I packed my things into the trunk of my car. As the motel lights dimmed behind me, I didn't cry. I drove into the dawn with the quiet knowledge that with or without them, but life goes on.
Friends, what do you think of this story? Write your opinion in the comments. Would you like more stories? Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button so you don't miss any videos. See you tomorrow.